What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here with another edition of Tobacco Talk, where I review a cigar and then I give you my thoughts on it in 4 key areas: flavor, draw, construction, and burn. It's everything you want to know about that cigar, but it's from my palate perspective, and then I rate it as to whether I think it's noteworthy or not. So the cigar for this review comes from Blackbird Cigar Co. This was sent to me. I actually had a couple of them sent to me. Admittedly, I already did enjoy the first one, but I told you in that unboxing I would probably be doing a review, so here it comes. I have a review for this edition of Tobacco Talk on the Blackbird Cigar Co. Superb, excuse me. The Blackbird Cigar Co. Superb, and this is an Habano wrap cigar. I will get into the blend and all of that good stuff in just a minute here, but if we're going to review it, there's only one thing left to do. Let's light it up. All right, so I went with a straight cut like I do quite frequently here. On the cold draw, I'm picking up notes of dried fruit, but like a really nice gingerbread cookie kind of note as well. A little bit of sweetness in there with it, with some cinnamon and nutmeg and different things like that. But there's a hint of also a little bit of a cocoa kind of note on that cold draw. So let's toast her up. Okay, upon initial light up, quite a bit of leather mixed with a little bit of woodiness. The wood's developing now a little bit more into like a rich oaky wood that's in there. There's still that sort of like cinnamon nutmeg kind of note that's floating around in there as well, excuse me. Yeah, just that nice woody, sort of smoked woody note in there. All right, I'm going to jump into the first third of this. When I come back, I will let you know the full blend of this cigar, flavor notes, how it's going, and well, anything else I think you might need to know about this superb cigar. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the first third. You can see right here, pretty much straight. I did slide the band down just a little bit, just so that you could see what the burn line looked like. Not doing too bad at all. So let's talk blend on this cigar. Um, Jonas Santana, who is the owner of Blackbird Cigar Co., uh, has been pretty undetailed and undisclosed actually with a lot of the blend on the cigar. So all that we know that has been disclosed is that it has an Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper on it, and that the binders and fillers are completely undisclosed. So there's no information on what tobacco is used inside, what's used on the binder, filler, nothing like that at all. And they're all made at his factory, which is the Blackbird Dominicana cigar factory down in the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken. It's down in Tamboril. Looking up some history on it, Jonas actually grew up not far from Tamboril and was really intrigued by it, him and one other friend. And so that was what led him into the cigar industry more and getting involved, and then obviously launching Blackbird Cigar Co. So flavor notes in the first third. That really nice, like gingerbread spiced cookie note is still there. There's a hint of a white pepper in there, but it's a very, very savory cigar. And then there's a nice, like, cocoa note that's in there with some really nice creaminess that comes in. So a very, very savory first third on this cigar. The draw on it is doing just fine, is doing very well. I haven't had to relight it. I haven't touched it up. No wonky burns, nothing like that at all. And I'd say the strength on this is probably a medium minus. Not very strong whatsoever, but very, very enjoyable. Not a very slow burning cigar, but it's not crazy fast either. It's just a really good pace, in my opinion, for the size of it and all those different things. So I'm going to jump to the second third. When I come back, I'll let you know about the vitolas and sizes that it is offered in, any notes on the flavor profile that may change, and anything else that I think y'all need to know. Let me show you the burn here at the end of the second third. You can see it right there. Again, pretty much razor straight. Doing very, very well with it. Smoke keeps coming right off the foot. Doing fantastic. Okay, let's talk about the flavor notes here in the second third. They didn't develop a whole lot, but what came in a lot more, for me at least, was a little more of that cocoa kind of creaminess that's in there. And then there's still just that nice, like, subtle white pepper mixed with the savory nutmeg cinnamon note that's in there. Still very creamy. There's a hint of a woodiness that's in there. and just a hint of like a creamed coffee is in there as well. So cream is actually pretty prominent in this. There's a nice toasted note that's in there as well. So it hasn't really developed and gotten richer. They've just sort of adjusted the flavors a little bit, with some of them going back and forth in terms of being forefront or being on the long finish and in the background. So I told you that I would let you know what the Vitolas are that this Superb comes in, and there's a 5x54, which is a Robusto Gordo, which is what I currently have here for the review, and then there's a 6x52 Toro, and depending on whether you're getting a box of the Robustos or of the Toros, you're looking to spend anywhere from about $196 up to a little bit, north of 200, 225 or so is what it'll cost you for a box of the Toros, which makes the price per cigar roughly between $9 and $10, depending on which Vitola you select. The draw is doing very, very well on it. I would say strength on this is probably a good solid medium now. It hasn't gone up a ton, but it has gone up just a hint. And the retrohale, I got to tell you, the retrohale is where this cigar absolutely shines and opens up. I don't get the creamy note unless I retrohale. I don't get as much of the baking spice, gingerbread sort of nutmeg spice that's in there unless I retrohale. And that coffee note comes in on the very long finish of like a creamy, almost a vanilla coffee kind of note is in there. So really, really interesting, but really, really nice. And the flavors definitely complement each other. So I'm going to jump into the final third of this cigar. When I come back, I will let you know of any changes to the flavor profile, any other information that I think is important for you to know, whether you consider getting this or not. And then, of course, I will let you know whether I think this superb cigar is noteworthy or not. All right, let me show you the burn here as I wrap up this review. As you can see right here, I mean, nearly flawless razor straight burn. There's a little bit of a mascara line on it. It might be hard to see just because of the lighting and different things, but absolutely fantastic burn the entire time. I haven't had to touch it up. I haven't had to correct it. It didn't run, canoe, nothing at all. Construction is absolutely phenomenal on this cigar. Okay, flavors or flavor profile in this final third, they changed. And they changed. In the first one that I had, I remember it doing the exact same thing, which I love because that's consistency. And they really left the sort of chocolate cocoa note behind in the dust. And it is prominently a toasted nuttiness, a little bit of wood, a subtle, subtle hint of leather in there. That sort of gingerbread spice is completely gone, but there's a really, really nice toasted nuttiness. I love cigars that have a nutty flavor profile to them, and this at the end has that nuttiness, it has that creaminess. There's still a hint of that coffee in there as well, and there's a really nice, like subtle white pepper just on my palate. I don't get it when I retrohale. It is just there on the palate, and it is so, so savory and so good. So, the name Superb, if you're familiar at all with Blackbird Cigar Co., you know that every single other blend and cigar that has been released has all been a bird name. It has been, the rook, it has been the finch, it has been, all these other names. Well, as Jonas and everybody at Blackbird was sampling and blending and going through everything, the real like thing that stood out to them was how delicious this cigar is and how good it was to them, and they couldn't come up with really any other name other than to say that this is just superb. And if you follow Blackbird Cigar Co. on social media, on Instagram back a couple weeks ago at TPE, Jonas did a quick little short and a video that showed that everybody's response to this has been, holy cow, this is absolutely phenomenal. This is delicious. This is a great cigar. This was, one from my understanding, it wasn't at TPE, but one that, was talked about, and Blackbird got a lot of response that this is just like their favorite cigar of the trade show.
Do you know the feeling when you launch a new cigar and everybody's telling you, Jonas, this is my new favorite? I'm like, for real? Yeah, this is my new favorite Blackbird cigar. Superb. A trip to paradise.
Now, do I think it's noteworthy? Based on what I just said and thinking that this is a superb cigar, that it lives up to its name, this is absolutely a noteworthy cigar. This is one that I could easily see getting a 5 pack of, going straight to it. If you're familiar with what Jonas does and the majority of the Blackbird line, you're not going to be disappointed when you check this one out, because it is one that is just so smooth through the entire progression of the cigar. Every single third, it's very distinct, is what you pick up, and the flavor notes, something sort of juggle back and forth, but overall, an absolutely delicious, nub-worthy cigar. If you've had this new Superb from Blackbird, I would love for you to put some comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on it. Did you have a similar experience? Did you get a similar profile? I got to tell you, when I sat back and had the first one and just enjoyed it and didn't focus on needing to be in reviewer mode, it was just a really, really smooth, good cigar that I got to sit back and just enjoy. And that's what you want. You don't want to have a cigar that you have to work on, or you have to think about a lot, or you have to do anything with. You just want to sit back and enjoy a cigar. This is one that for me is absolutely enjoyable. And so I want to thank Jonas and Miyagi and everybody over at Blackbird again for sending this out my way. As a couple of them to check out, one to review, one to check out on my own. They didn't expect review. It wasn't part of any agreement, nothing like that at all. But after having it sent to me, obviously the least that I can do is review it and let all of you know what my experience with the cigar has been. And so if you have a palate similar to mine, I encourage you to go and check this one out. But again, if you've had it already, put some comments down below. If this sounds like something that is right up your alley, I get comments quite often on my videos of people saying, because of what you said, I need to check it out. My palate's similar to yours, so now this is on my list. And I get frequent comments like that. So if you check this out, come back and let me know in the comments what your experience with it was. Did you enjoy it? Was it similar to mine? Did you have the Toro and maybe it's a little bit of a different flavor profile, because it's a little bit of a different size and the way that it's blended? I don't imagine it's going to be very different, if different at all. It's just going to be enjoying a longer cigar that's 6 inches long as opposed to 5 inches long. But that's going to do it for this edition of Tobacco Talk. Enjoy your cigar journey, everybody. I'm Cigar Show Tim. As always, I'll see you.